Hello sports fans and welcome to round 2 of the 2004 Msdgc. Keith Warren, Mitch Sonderfan, and Walt Haney shot very hot 46 rounds. Here we start off with Chris Heron on hole 2.
We are going to gold, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's called
Let's jump to Keith Warren on hole 1. He is one of our leaders. That is a beautiful shot. Straight down the gut. Nice curve to the right. He has set himself up for a birdie opportunity, unbelievably, on this almost 500-foot hole 1. Nice run, easy par. Keith Warren will par out of hole 1. Mike Dussault for the birdie. Ron Russell trying to answer, trying to stay even with Mike Dussault. Birdie! Count it. Ron Russell, Mike Dussault moving up in the standings. Keith Warren, Walter Haney still in the lead. Mitch Sonderfan double bogeys hole 1, moves 2 strokes off the lead. Here's Keith Warren. He's going to have trouble getting a par on that very easy hole 2. Mitch Sonderfan shows him the way. Up and left. That's an easy birdie for Mitch. Ron Russell with his drive on hole 4. That is a beautiful drive right down the smack gap. The heck's a smack gap? Here comes Bob Graham. Another beautiful drive. That's still flying. That's past Ron Russell's drive. They both have shots at birdie. Here's Ron Russell, about 120 feet. Boo! Oh no! Off the basket. Bob Graham for the birdie. Count it. Nicely done, Bob Graham. Let's go to Mike Dussault's par shot. Mike saves the par. Bob Graham definitely gaining ground on that hole. Walter Haney, birdie! Well done on hole 2. Moving to the third hole of round 2. Walter Haney now has a 2-stroke lead over Mitch Sonderfan and Steve Brinster. Keith Warren is 3 shots off the pace. Here's Gerald Davis on hole 5. Lays it in there for a nice, easy birdie, going to the gold baskets. Cam Todd on hole 4. That is a big drive by Cam Todd, the North Carolina boy. He's got to be happy with that one. Here's Chris Heron trying to match Cam's effort. He goes straight at it. That is the manly route. Nice shot by Chris Heron. He's got to be happy getting through there. Steve Brinster trying the same gap does not pay off. That is a way to lose a stroke. Here's Cam Todd for the birdie on hole 4. Oh, just misses. Leaves himself about a 15-footer comeback. Cam Todd for par. Off to the left. Cam is not too happy about that. He is not going to do that very often. Happy birthday to the rest of the group. Ron Russell has missed his birdie shot on hole 5, gone in the water. Birdie to bogey. And that bogey drops Ron Russell down to 13th place. Walter Haney now has a 2-stroke lead over Mitch Sonderfan, a 3-stroke over Dr. Doug, and Mitch is not closing the gap that way. Here's Cam on hole 5, going for the gold baskets. Nice shot, Cam hits the post on the silver. Matt LaCourte putting to the gold, through the silver. Well shot, Matt. Bob Graham, if he hits this, he's going to sole place a second. And he does not hit it, does not get a good roll. He'll hit that putt coming back, no problem. Moving on to the 5th hole. Walter Haney with a 3-stroke lead over Chris Heron and Keith Warren. And he makes a beautiful placement shot right there. Keith Warren hoping to stay within 3. And that's the way to do it. Dr. Doug hoping to stay within 4. These guys are making this look easy. Ron Russell lost a couple strokes on everybody right here. We go to Bob Graham. Hole 7, his 2nd shot. He gets a bad bounce back. This is a very tough hole to get a 3 on. Here's Bob Graham for a 3. He gets the par. Very nice comeback putt. Mike Dussault's 2nd shot on the same hole 7. Much more traditional layup for the 3. Chris Heron's second shot on hole 6 to stay 3 behind the leader. He does that. Well done, Chris. And Dr. Doug's birdie without hitting the silver basket. We move on to the 6th hole. Walter Haney leading by 3. He's birdied the last 2 holes in a row. Keith Warren on hole 6. Pulls it left. Can't be happy with that. Cam Todd on hole 7. Off the chains to the left. Cam Todd is giving strokes away. Merry Christmas to the rest of the field. Ron Russell trying to bounce back from that birdie attempt that went in the water. This water's casual, but it still gives him a stroke with that roll down the hill. Unless he hits his par putt, beautifully well recovered, Ron. Mike Dussault's par on hole 8. Yee. Makes him a little nervous. Walter Haney, birdie, 3 in a row. Walter is on fire. Now has a 4-stroke lead over a group of 4 great golfers. Here goes Ron Russell on hole 9. This is our 7th hole of play. Ron Russell lays that thing right up the fairway. A beautiful shot. Here comes Gerald Davis, looking to do that exact same thing. Pulls it a little too hard to the right. That disc has missed the mandatory. He's going to be re-teeing, shooting 3. That gives Gerald Davis 2 additional strokes he did not want. Ron Russell lays it up there for the easy 3 on another difficult hole 9. Cam Todd, hole 8. He's in the 2nd group. He lays that up very nicely for a par. Steve Brinster's 2nd shot on hole 8.
Yeah!
It's in the basket. Well done, Steve Brinster. Unbelievable shot. Matt LaCourte hits his par shot. Steve Brinster has definitely gained a stroke with that shot. Keith Warren has gained a... He had birdied hole 7. Unbelievable. These guys are on fire, closing the gap to 3. They're now 3 strokes behind Walter Haney. We go to the 8th hole. Walter Haney responds with a fantastic drive straight up the gut of hole 8, I'm sorry.
Black Ace cost you
He's got a
$5.
definite birdie chance. Much easier birdie shot than Brinster's. Matt LaCourte hooks that left to right. That's a nice looking shot, Matt. Followed by a chance at bogey. And he sinks the bogey putt. Nice recovery. For 4 birdies in a row, Walter Haney is denied by the branch. Walter Haney now has a 3-stroke lead. He's on the tough hole 9 with the mandatory straight ahead. And he ticks off that he also has got troubles on hole 9. Now we go to Gerald Davis on hole 11. That's a very nice drive. Can it keep hooking? Nope, it's going to come back. Still got a very nice birdie putt. Bob Graham, same hole. Swings it left. It's a yay. Not so good, Bob. He's got a tough time making par, especially with second shots like that. Bob Graham, long par putt. That's good. That's a nice putt by Bob. Chris Heron for birdie on hole 10. Well done, Chris. That'll move him up in the standings. And we've got Walter Haney, after double bogeying hole 9, now just 1 stroke ahead. Brian Galler showing us hole 13. This is the airport hole, very difficult hole. A 4 is a good score on that, and Brian Galler sets himself up for a shot at 3. Walter Haney pulls his drive to the right, gets through the gap, bounces left, gives himself a birdie shot. He's got to be happy with that one. Bob Graham on hole 12. These 3 holes, hole 12, 13, and 14, are very difficult. Getting through with pars, you're going to gain 2 or 3 strokes on most of the crowd. Bob Graham starts off with a par on hole 12. Well done, Bob. Hole 12, Mike Dussault's drive. Don't stick a fork in him.
Split him. Unbelievable.
He's not done yet. Walter Haney birdie putt on hole 10. He sinks it. He's back on track. Moving on to our 11th hole. Walter Haney hanging on to a 1-stroke lead over Brinster. 2 strokes over Keith Warren. Here's Keith Warren on hole 11.
Oh, yeah.
That is a very nice drive. He's got a great shot at birdie. He might be closing that gap to 1. Bob Graham on hole 13. This is just a tight alley. A 4 is a great shot, a great score on this, and that's a great shot. And that's given him a very good shot at 4. Ron Russell in the shul on the right. It's a great pitch out. Nice tick off the tree. With a good shot here, he could save a bogey. And that was not a good bounce. Down in the airport shul, he's gonna be lucky, assuming he finds this disc, he's gonna be lucky to get a double bogey out of this. It's a shame too, he just moved back up into 7th place, tied with Cam Todd after that devastating bogey. Gerald Davis with a nice putt. Matt LaCourte, hole 12, for par. Oh, just off the rim. Nice run. Chris Heron for par. That's the way to make it look easy. Let's see what Brinster can do. Basically the same spot. Off the top. Brinster's not too happy with that one. Definitely could have gained a stroke. Keith Warren misses his birdie shot on hole 11. We're moving on to the 12th hole. Keith Warren and Steve Brinster both missed putts, and Walter Haney now has a 2-stroke lead going on to, I'm going to call them the 3 amigos, these 3 holes of death. Walter Haney has a very nice drive. Keith Warren misses the trees, gets out of the gap. He's got a great up and down chance for a pretty easy par on a very difficult hole. Steve Brinster throws it right down the gap. I'm trying to look around his body here. Turns out that was a very nice shot. Great shot at par on the long hole 13. Mike Dussault just misses his par on hole 14. Bob Graham for par on 14. Sinks it. Ron Russell. He hits this. He ties Bob Graham and Mike Dussault. That's a nice recovery after that double bogey on hole 13. Walter Haney on hole 12 misses the par, drops a stroke. People are starting to tighten up. Walter Haney -9, Keith Warren and Steve Brinster 2 shots back. Walter Haney on the long, difficult hole 13 gets a horrendous kick into the left mire. Dr. Doug on hole 13. Walter Haney's going to have trouble pulling a double bogey out of this one. He is way deep in there. Dr. Doug with a fantastic shot right up the middle. Ron Russell, 15th hole. That's a perfect shot. He parks that. He's going to be gaining a couple of strokes. Steve Brinster for par on hole 14. Oh, no! Wow, that is devastating. Especially with Keith and Walter having troubles back on hole 13. Nice putt by Matt LaCourte. Keith Warren trying to get through that smallest of gaps, does not succeed. Dr. Doug, a very nice upshot. That is the easy bogey. That is the way to play this game. Mitch Sonderfan, low. He's having trouble this round. Things are just starting to fall apart. Keith Warren misses the bogey putt. Keith Warren is double bogeyed. Walter Haney for triple bogey. He hits it. But that moves Steve Brinster into the lead. Steve Brinster at -7, Keith Warren and Walt Haney now at -6. And things are starting to tighten up here in the round 2 of the MSDGC. Our leader on hole 15 has just hit one of the first trees. None too happy. Matt LaCourte says, I'll gain a stroke with a nice shot. He's left himself about 15 feet. OB is past it, but he doesn't have to worry about that. Hole 14, Dr. Doug's second shot. He's going past the flagpole to that gold pin back to the right. That's a nice shot. He's left himself about 50 feet for the par. Very difficult shot. She makes look easy. Thank you, Dr. Doug, for the par. Walter Haney for par in the tough hole 14. He knows it's in. It's in. Keith Warren, hole 14, nicely putt. Mike Dussault with a nice run on hole 16 that does not quite go. We move on to our 15th hole with Walter Haney and Steve Brinster now tied for the lead, and everybody's starting to tighten up the gap. Ron Russell making a run here in those last few holes. Beautiful shot, beautiful drive right down the alley on hole 17. Mitch Sonderfan for putt. Hole 15 for birdie. Over the OB rope. Birdie to bogey. Keith Warren, nerves of steel. Who cares about the OB? He hits that birdie putt. Matt LaCourte for a birdie on hole 16. This would be a very nice shot. Oh, nice run by Matt LaCourte. Yeah. Chris Heron hits that putt. Chris Heron has birdied hole 16. Nicely done. Bob Graham for his par on hole 17. Pushes it off right. Bob's having a great round with some good putts. Here's his comeback putt on hole 17. Off the chains. A double bogey for Bob Graham. That drops him down to a tie for 9th. Can't be happy with that. Hole 18, Ron Russell making a move these last few holes. Parks it. Nicely shot. Mike Dussault, same shot. That's got to be a park job. Let's see what Bob Graham can do. See if he can recover a little bit. He's 5 strokes off the lead. This would be a really fun shot. He gets it right in there also, leaving himself maybe a 15, 20 footer. Mike Dussault hits his putt. Bob Graham hits his putt. Ron Russell has a little drop in. That's exciting, Ron. Thank you very much. Nice park. Mitch Sonderfan with a birdie run. No! Going into our 17th hole, Keith Warren and Walter Haney and Steve Brinster are tied at -6. We've got a couple folks at -5. Here's Keith's drive. Off the he should be shooting for par. Walter Haney gets it down a little left. If he can get through, he bounces out a little bit. He's got to look. He's got to gimme par. He's got to look at birdie. Ron Russell on hole 1, following Keith Warren's textbook. What a beautiful shot by Ron. Bob Graham on hole 1. After that nice recovery birdie, a beautiful drive by Bob Graham. That is exactly what you want to do. Here comes Gerald Davis doing the exact same thing, hopefully. And it comes out from behind the tree, and that is another beautiful shot. Those guys in that third group are starting to tear it up. Bob Graham with the easy par on hole 1. That's a great score. Keith Warren's second shot. That's rolling off to the right into the pine trees. He's got about a 70-footer for par. Unbelievable! Keith Warren is not going away. Walter Haney to take the lead. That had a chance. I think that had a chance. And he's been rejected by another limb. Steve Brinster, who birdied hole 18, now up by 1. We go to hole 2 with Gerald Davis with a beautiful drive. Leaves himself about a 20-25 footer. Mike Dussault, hole 2, shoots it a little tight. In between the trees.
Trees out there?
What trees? No trees. Keith Warren's putt, birdie putt on hole 18, wide right. Nice run though, Keith. Some great putts this round. Mitch Sonderfan hits his birdie putt. And Gerald Davis, oh.